Well, hey there, people of Earth. It's only been about a week, and I finally got my web cam or my laptop video camera working. Um, I have a laptop that was kind of a newer laptop to me, and it's Windows 10, which I haven't had a great deal of experience with. I was, however, in computer networking for about 18 years. I was pretty damn good. I was generally, I'm going to admit, but I was a computer geek, pretty good around the computers. And then as I got older and I wasn't working with computers too much, I'm like the older people I see when they get these phones and devices and they don't know what to do or how to do it. And I kind of evolved back into that, but I finally got the video worked out because I wanted to be able to get into YouTube, and I wanted to make some videos. Primarily, what I'm going to be doing ultimately is making motivational videos, and generally my topic is going to be surviving very difficult times and getting through them, and how the benefits of going through these difficult times and struggles. I say struggles, and I want to add first that there's a gentleman named William Hollis, and he has some motivational uh, audio recordings in YouTube, and he's also a motivational speaker. He speaks with rooms full of people. I don't know, auditoriums, coliseums, or whatnot. I just ran into him a little while back online, and I listened to one of his speeches, his presentations regarding struggles. It's the first one I ever watched for motivational recordings. And in a nutshell, and I'll get back to this later on, uh, what he had to say about struggles in life and pain in life and so forth was mind-boggling. It was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I'm not going to start describing everything about it now, but let's just say that it turned me into a man that I wanted to be. That changed my world and my life forever. Uh, well, right now I'm not talking with a script. I'm going to be working on a plan and designing a speech plan, depending on what categories and topics. Just kind of a little more structure. Uh, I guess you might say I'm going to make an outline. Other than that, for the moment, I'm doing very well uh, compared to the last couple of years. For those of you who don't know anything about my experiences in 2016, I know there are some that do, some other friends that do. Um, Essentially, as we go through life, uh, we encounter troubles, problems, struggles, things that happen to us. Sometimes not really major things that are generally easier to overcome and don't push our nervous system. And sometimes we face very difficult times, deaths of a loved one, tragic, deadly car accidents that we survive through, like rolling over a vehicle 3 or 4 times in the median of a interstate and surviving. Losing a job. Losing a job is no fun. Unless you don't like the job at all and they fire you for some reason. And you act like I did once. I acted all upset when I was speaking with my manager. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my job. And I got out the front door and I was like, "Yahoo! Yay! I got out to work there anymore." um, but what I'm saying is, in each path of our life, once in a while we stumble across a situation, whether it's like getting our light shut off, or a repossession, a death, losing a job, homelessness, um, legal issues, DUIs, arrests for this and that. You get the idea. Things that happen that just flat out suck and make us miserable and test our will. And for the most part, uh, some people are aware of this and know how it works, and I think there are some people that haven't really experienced a lot of hardships or trials and that strengthen us. Because ultimately, they say adversity brings or builds character. and strength. And I mean, I know for a fact in my life it does. Uh, and I'm sitting here thinking, should I just start turning this into an actual session of motivational speech, or am I just doing this to test out my camera and just for the heck of it and fun, just make a little video here and check it out and just play with it, Uh, I guess a little bit of both. I don't know. If I'm comfortable and I want to keep talking, I'll do it. And if I feel like I'm just going to wrap it up and then come up with a plan for a more structured presentation, then I'll do that. I mean, almost 52 years old, and it's fun. It's growing older. For those of you who are either growing old, well, we all growing older, but for those of you who are already like middle aged and have caught on to a lot of the values and the advantages of growing older, then fine. But there are some, I have to say I'm sure, because most people, when we're growing older, when we're young, teenage years, 20s, 30s, whatever, we haven't quite got the experience under your belt in life as far as gaining wisdom and experience and strength. I'm not saying you don't know anything, or I'm better than you, or you don't know anything, or haven't experienced it, because we all experience it essentially from very young years all the way up to the end of our time. And it's just kind of my interest is to kind of figure out the statistics on people who don't pay attention to the situations where we can gain valuable wisdom, just experiences, whatever it may be, where we make mistakes and we learn by them, and then we grow, and we don't do this, we don't repeat the same behaviors that gets us to places we don't want to be. And I also, like a target audience is somebody who may have stumbled here into this video and just happen to watch it. And if you did, I'm really glad you did, because I'm going to be sharing information and experiences and things that I've learned by reading various books, and just over the years, I paid attention, and I want to know that, yeah, somebody did listen to my presentation, and maybe there's somebody out there that actually picked themselves up out of the dirt, brushed themselves off, and we found determination and faith and courage to get through whatever it is you may be getting through. That's very difficult. When I say difficult, I mean difficult at the time where you may be contemplating suicide, or even have attempted it and it failed. Um, you know, I'm not serious about this. For most of my life, I never thought I would even like be doing this, like telling myself, okay, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm new. I'm not, by all means, I'm not a motivational speaker that goes to auditoriums and schools and places and does it like the Tony Robbins is, and the William Hollises and the Zig Ziglars and all those guys. And I thought, like, the way my thinking was like, well, that's not what I can do. If they do it though, those are the guys that, wow, they're the motivational speakers. And I would never have imagined that I would say, well, if they did it and they became that, and they're known, why can't I? And just like, it made sense. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm no different from them like that. I mean, Thomas Edison was a great inventor, and if you say, if like I have an inventor's mind, I have inventions in mind, and people say, well, that's crazy, wow, I say, well, all through history, people have been doing things that they went down in history for and made a difference in society. It's not that all that stuff didn't stop. It's not like, okay, at one time it stopped, and now all of us in the world now, that we're not going to be doing the same things. There's people that don't do that. Well, there will always be, I think, always be people that are doing things that they remembered for, and that help mankind either in a small way or a large way. And that doesn't really ever stop. And I opened my eyes and I thought, wait a minute, I'm part of that timeline. I'm just another person like them. Let me, I'm going to be one of those people, and it really blew my mind, because for almost, for like 50 something years, I've always been motivated and really just driven to help people and, leave my mark in the world somehow. And I really wanted to do that. And I found, little ways. Like I thought, well, having a conversation with somebody, one person remembers me, it's a marketing world now. But I am doing that now. And I'm going to bring up William Hollis again. I wouldn't be sitting here today doing this and feeling the way I do it with my strength and my faith and my courage and my compassion, and I wouldn't be the man that I have recently discovered inside of me like this um, without him, without William Hollis in his motivational speaking. And I've wrote him a couple messages. Um, I'm not going to get into detail about what I wrote, but uh, I really would love to talk to him on the phone sometime and maybe meet him. I offered to him to work with maybe one of the schools here and set up something where someday maybe he can come up here and to New Hampshire and do one of his presentations to a room full of school students, because I think what I read was he likes to appeal to young people, just help save their lives, for those that are going down a bad path, just to help young people, or like I say, young men and young ladies. It brings to mind. It's funny as I don't know what people's attitudes are in aging out there. All of you, there's a variety of it. But what I figured out is, aging is really not that bad when you can have some fun. I have fun with people. Like I called tech support up for my laptop last night, and I told him I was playing with a kid on the phone. I said, yeah, I should, I got the truck driving for a couple of years, and you gotta keep your door locked on the back in case, you don't want somebody going in there even if it's empty, because one guy was in Chicago area and he found a dead body in the back of his truck. And I told him, I said, yeah. I said, man, I said, you know what? I said, it happened to me. I opened up my doors at a pickup stop, and oh my God, there was this dead guy in the back of my truck. It stunk, And I called the police, and the coroner came out, and he's like, wow, whoa. And of course, it didn't really happen, but I was just having a little fun. And then I said, I made up a story. I was talking about this and that, and I want to get my laptop going because, I'm going to be using it for navigation, for GPS, charts to things, and navigating a ship. And I told him, I was like, yeah. I said, I got a couple friends coming down, and we're going to go down to the port there, and I said, those container ships that you stack all the, like tractor trailer trailers on, they stack those containers, and he's like, yeah. I said, yeah, well, there's one that's going to be unloading, and then they're going to be at 2 days in the port with no containers on, just sitting at the port. I said, look, can I trust you? I said, don't tell anybody this, but my friends of mine and I, we're going to sneak aboard one night and take the ship out to sea and cruise around the world on it. And he was all like, really? Wow, okay, yeah, wow. So right away I told him, I said, hey, bud. He said, yeah. I said, you've been pranked. And he's laughing. No, I don't know if it sounds stupid to whoever heard that, or it doesn't, or whatever. But I mean, I don't care what it sounds to you. I just, I enjoyed it and I had fun, and it didn't hurt anybody. I do other things. There's other things I do. Like I've been in a store before and see people shopping, and I'll just kind of casually walk up to them and, I don't work there. I'm like, good afternoon, sir. Is there anything I can help with today? And then it's like, yes, I'm looking for the charcoal briquettes. I can go on and on, but my point is I do believe I have a lot to share, a lot of experiences in life, a lot of wisdom, strength that I've developed over the past couple of years that I never even imagined I'd ever attain. And I went from, a world of tragedies and things like death and divorce and car accidents and homelessness and joblessness and losing just about everything I had. Sentimental things from my relatives that died, and clothes and everything. I was down to a backpack after my car got wrecked, and staying here and there, Salvation Arms and all that. And last up to like about a week ago, it was like a big struggle of recovering from it all and how am I going to fix it. And I got legal issues, and I got this and that, and all this stuff came down at one thing. It all came down like it's about the same time on me, all that. But now, one step at a time, through the veterans programs and charitable, people with clothing and just whatever, just all the resources available. Um, I've got a one bedroom apartment now. I've got furniture and I've got things. I mean, I'm regaining things. And if you never lost things in your life, I don't mean you lost your car keys, but I mean if you never lost like everything or a marriage or just stuff, you know, I don't think you may not appreciate what you have, and you take it for granted, and being grateful for what you have. I didn't. I went to a point where I just basically didn't have anything. I mean, the important thing is I did. My children, I had me. I had my dignity and my courage, and my heart. But I just it fell apart. Okay, but this isn't a pity party. Um, this is just a background as to so you can identify with what your situation may be or has been before or may become, which I hope not. But now, things I have now, I have I have things now, king size bed, that I'm so grateful for, so grateful. I mean, I look at roll of toilet paper. Wow. You know, dishes, a kitchen, my own apartment. I could look at everything. Coffee maker, toaster. It's like winning a grand prize when I didn't have it before. I lost everything. So that's just, I guess, more of a subject of gratitude. And gratitude, to me, gratitude is extremely important. Gratitude is it was, to me, it was a difficult word to define. I know what it meant, but I just wanted to really feel it and know that when I feel gratitude for something, that is pure, just pure God-given gratitude. And I'm going to take a puff of my vapor. Because I like nicotine, and I try not to smoke cigarettes. This is getting a little longer than I was going to make it, but I'm having fun. Whatever. I guess I might call it practice. And yeah, what the heck? Let's call it my first motivational speaking session. Might as well just roll with it. I wonder if I can pause this and get up and get something to drink and then play it again. I think I can. Because I'm so thirsty. I take some medications, and I think one makes me thirsty. It's funny. Sometimes I've been like at the VA, we talking to my therapist or whoever, and I've been really thirsty. And when I'm talking, they can hear like that sound. You want some water? I'm like, no, okay. I feel like my lips look like they're like all wrinkled and puckered up, like I just drank 10 gallons of salt water. But it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I have some health issues. I mean, most all of us do, and I'm about 52. And as I got older, I said, before when I was close to 40, I said, well, 40 is that age when men start to have health issues. But my attitude, and attitude's another subject I'm gonna embellish on and get to eventually in another way, another time, recording or whatever. Uh, so I said, geez, yeah, okay, I'll have health issues. I'm getting older. And then, now I'm like, yeah, I knew I'd have a health issue now and then, but I'm like, but not all at one time. Whoa. But in a strange way, it's just, it just happens. I mean, it's not all great. Some of it sucks. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I generally take care of myself pretty good. Once in a while, my numbers, my blood splits a little bit, but the bottom of my feet and near my toes and all this, it's I lost a little feeling, a little numb and all that. And I know all about what that's all about, but I don't know. We seem to learn to live with a lot of stuff. I mean, I see people that have lost a leg, or people living with debilitating pain and nerve damages. We all know there's all kind of health things that people have on canes and wheelchairs and whatnot. But in a strange way, I think we kind of adapt to it, and it may not be fun or easy, but I think we learn to be okay with it. So I probably was starting to talk about something that I wanted to share, and I know in my mind I sidetrack myself. I'll be on a subject, and then that will make me think of something that is related to it. that is like a side story, and I suddenly jump on the side story, and then what I was talking about just kind of goes. So I will work on making an outline and then organizing what I have to say. Uh, but kind of what I was getting at, when I shared the devastation of 2016, I felt like everything I had gone throughout my life, I like to call people, our lives, our journeys, our timelines, my timeline. Occasionally, now and then, there was a repo once, an eviction, there was a death before, divorce before, and this before, and that. As I'm getting older and going through life, this happened. Oh God, it's terrible. That's awful. This happened. Oh my God, you from my car. This happened. Oh my. You take all that stuff over the years, and then just put it all into one big ball. All that stuff, and then boom, it all hit me at the same time. But the point is that I'm glad it did. I really am. What I went through at the time was awful, and recovering from it and rebuilding my life. But in another way, I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade that. I would not, because I have a way about me now. And again, Mr. Hollis's presentation about struggles um, made me look at it in a whole nother light. I don't feel, as far as uh, strength from it, from everything about, all the strength built up, because I paid attention and I want to feel it and I want to learn about it. I just feel like solid, strong as as I don't know, the heart of a lion. I feel like I can move mountains. You know, that I can become anything I want in life. I can get things accomplished I never was able to before, because I don't have the fear. I feel like I'm solid as a rock, just unwavering, unbreakable. It goes beyond that. I mean, when I feel strength, I never thought I'd feel the strength I feel today. You know, and I know there's gonna be tough times again. It doesn't stop, but I'm much better prepared for it. And as far as the courage, when I was I don't know, junior high school, um, I didn't have a great deal of courage, for the most part. I mean, in a way, I did. Like one time, I was going to go down to this place called the Trumbull Valley, and it's a big valley, long woods and cliffs and excuse me, rivers and all that. Yeah, I yawn. I'm not, I have nothing to hide at 52 years old. Sorry, I don't sleep much these days. But anyway, so I was going to go sleep there overnight in the woods by myself. And that thought comes to mind, like that. It's that, going to the woods at night thing. Creepy. Woo. But I was willing to do it. I went down there and started walking in the path, and then I was like, dang it! And then I realized I forgot. I don't know. I forgot something that I needed. I don't know. I don't know if it was a sleeping bag or just something that I needed. And I didn't stay there, but I was willing to. I just was missing some stuff I needed. Um, and then as far as courage goes, like junior high school, I was afraid. Like for instance, fighting. I was afraid to fight. Um, it's fighting. If you've never fought before, it's scary. Uh, but I had gotten into my first fight. I kind of pissed off a football player a little bit, and then later on, a while later, I don't know, a month or two, whatever, we got into a fight, and I kicked the living daylights out of him and kicked his ass all over the place. He was hurting, but as a good sport, he was kind of like a friend. He was like one of our neighborhood friendly friends, but he was a football player. And right after the fight was over, I walked through the parking lot there at the mall, and I bought a couple cans of soda, and I came back and I gave him a can of soda, and we shook hands, and that was it. And then that built my courage up a great deal, because I overcame that fear, and I realized, dang, I actually want to fight and beat up a football player. That's a big accomplishment back then, but then I've had, when I was younger, probably like between, junior high school and high school days, around, the ages that most of us, a lot of us, when we fight, we get into because we're still young and immature, and we do that. I got into about another two or three fights, and I won every fight. I had a fight. A guy was beating up a friend of mine at the bowling alley down in Florida, in the arcade there, and I saw that, and I ran right at the guy, and my friend stepped aside, and I started pounding the daylights out of the guy. Roundhouses, right, oh, haymakers, bang right through his head and all that stuff. And he was crying for mercy. And he's a pretty big guy. He was short, but he was the guy who lifted weights. So she's begging me to stop. So I stopped. And anyway, there's a couple more. One fight. This could be a long story, but I'm gonna make it short. I had a buddy of mine. I was 18. I had a buddy of mine on my motorcycle, and some people messed with him, and he had to do something about it. So he wanted me to drop him off at, I think, Nantigo Park in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So I brought him down there, and I thought they were cool. I thought they were his friends cool. There was a bunch of Portuguese, a gang, and I don't have anything against Portuguese. I said the Portuguese for a reason. I'll explain that in just a minute. It's not derogatory, but so anyway, they started stuff with me over a cigarette, and they blindsided me, punched me. My helmet was on, and they punched me. And out of nowhere, my reflexes, I threw down my gloves, my helmet, put my kickstand down, and I started swinging. I went into a fight with about nine gang members by myself, and there was nine of them and one of me. I could only do so much. Then at the end of the fight, when I was like burned out and worn down, because we get tired when we fight enough, they started beating me with a car jack and so forth. And then one of the women there, the girls or whatever, a young lady was there, and she was telling them to stop. She finally told them, stop, 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 and they stopped. And I got on my motorcycle and got out of there. I found out the next day that I broke a couple of noses and this and that, and I was satisfied just to hear that. I was like, first of all, I was satisfied that I actually had the guts to freaking do that. It's maybe a little stupid, but I did it, and I did all right, I guess, for one guy. Um, and then I also found out that later on that somebody from that gang somewhere or another uh, figured out that I wasn't an Italian, and he felt bad. He kind of apologized for the situation to me. And what had happened was, back then the Italians and the Portuguese had some kind of war going on, which was because, don't quote me on this. It's been a long time and I'm a little rusty, but basically I think it was a Portuguese person stole a moped. For you young people who don't know, it's basically a scooter with pedals, and you start you can ride it as a bike, or you pedal it, you start it, and then it's just a little scooter bike. And he got caught. The guy who stole it, and the Italians took him and they cut his leg off for it. Again, I'm pretty sure that's the right way it went. Maybe the other way around with Italians, but anyway, again, I want to say I have nothing against the Portuguese. I'm not racist, but that's just because it was the way the story was. And I was like, really? He's like, oh my God, because they say I look Italian. So my point with that story is that when we face our fears, whether it's a fight or you want to be a road walker, or whatever it may be, it's a good way to overcome them. So if there's something that you want to do in your life, or something you want to become, you have fear of something of it, I'm not going to sit here right now and tell you specifically how to overcome your fears and all about fear. That I'm going to cover that topic another time. But basically, just if you do it and you're okay with it, then it worked. Like my fear of fighting. Like I don't have a fear of fighting. I mean, the only thing I fear, if I had to like protect my family or my wife or girlfriend or whatever, guns. I mean, that makes sense. If you go to someone starting stuff with you and they're 12 feet away with a gun, I mean, you don't really want to mess with guns too much unless you're experienced in how to disarm a person. But other than that, I don't care. If I'm walking down the street with my girlfriend and 4, 5, 6, whatever hoodlums come up and they want to start something, the only thing I have to say to them is just let me know right now. Choose which hospital you guys want to go to, because you call it ego. I don't know. But in contrast, uh, yeah, the strength. You know, when I walk down the street, uh, and I'm no special, more special or different than anybody. Everybody has the ability to attain, the strength in your mind and the determination and the courage and the compassion. Um, but it is possible. If that's something you want in life, if you're a person out there that feels that you wish you had, more durability, you wish you had more, felt more like a man, or for a woman, as a woman. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I kind of don't identify so much with what a woman looks for. Like when a woman looks for courage and strength, how is it measured compared to a man? Like strength can feel like like you're just a warrior. Just like somebody who just can't be budged. Just and with a woman, I don't think a woman necessarily wants to feel with strength like some strong, tough warrior. Maybe you do. I don't know, but I'll learn as I go along. Um, well, I think I'm gonna call this part one, or I don't know what I'm gonna call it. But I've been really enjoying doing this. It's pretty cool. I gotta say, and the smile I have and this joy I feel like I went for many years without it. I wasn't happily married in the last part of my marriage, and don't get me wrong, it was really good for a while. And then since my devastating year, 2016, and struggling to get my life back together, there wasn't a lot of joy felt. Uh, but today, I can say, I'm feeling it. I can feel it. It just feels warm and wonderful. And you can have that too. That's why I'm doing videos and sharing. I want to be sharing the gift right now. So, and there's gonna be days again. They're gonna try me and they're gonna run me over and all, but at least I'll know how to handle it. You know. Well, God bless you all, and I hope it's my first video. I hope you got something out of it, or didn't. Whatever works for you. I'm gonna do one more puff of my vape because I love this thing. I still don't tell my doctors, but I still smoke a cigarette now and then. As a matter of fact, I wish I had one right now. Here we go. Ooh, sound foghorn, foghorn leghorn. I'm gonna make another video soon. I gotta get something to drink. My tongue's gonna dry out and turn to powder in a second. See you later, y'all. Thank you very much. How do I shut this thing off? Oh, they're looking at me. Wait a minute. I'm trying to find the button.